Throughout history, sports have played a vital role in fostering peace between nations. I'm virtually attending the Pyeongchang Peace Forum from our studios in New York to talk to 3 guests about how international sports competitions like the Olympics can help bring peace to a world in conflict. Many international sporting events like the Olympics encourage patriotism. How do they simultaneously manage to create a sense of community and camaraderie across borders?
Athletes work very hard to participate in the Olympic Games, so regardless of whether they win or lose, they feel like they have participated in the same combat.
There are cases where sports played an important role in easing political tensions. One such case is the 2018 Pyeongchang Olympic Games. At the time, tensions between the US and North Korea were at their peak. On the other hand, North Korea participated in the Olympic Games, and as a result, denuclearization efforts were able to begin.
We invited the North Korean delegation, and Kim Jong-un also visited South Korea and promised peace. That led to a US and North Korean summit. So residents of North Korea and South Korea have started to expect the end of the war. This is the mood that was created by the Pyeongchang 2018 Olympics.
The 2018 Pyeongchang Olympics also featured a unified women's hockey team with players from both North and South Korea.
I was there in Korea during the 2018 Olympics. I saw the friendship this unified team created between North and South Korea. I saw how sports created a forum for building a relationship between two countries. Sports are an ambassador of peace. Athletes are incredibly strong, and they have the power to create a new world.
Your goal for the 2024 Youth Olympics is that they be hosted by the Gangwon provinces of both North and South Korea. And what is your hope that the impact of this event can have?
If the 2024 Youth Olympics were hosted by both North and South Korea, they would need to open roads, airways, and railways between the 2 Gangwon provinces. This would contribute to development of tourism in both Koreas, as well as boost their economies.
And in 2018, female North Korean and South Korean ice hockey players competed on one unified team. Do you foresee more unified teams at the 2024 Youth Olympics?
I think so. The camaraderie built from a unified team eases our sense of conflict. Residents from South and North Korea would unite to cheer for the same team.
The Youth Olympics are different from the Olympics of older generations. The IOC emphasizes the Youth Olympic Games should focus on future values such as peace and equality. Looking back at the progress that was made with the 2018 Pyeongchang Olympics, we're hoping that the 2024 Youth Olympics can serve the same role so that the peace and denuclearization process can continue.
The hope for a peaceful resolution between the North and the South has some international investors predicting massive economic potential on the Korean Peninsula.
Whenever you have a new frontier open up anywhere in history, it has led to new investment and new prosperity.
You once said that if the 38th parallel opened up, the Korean Peninsula would become the single most exciting place in the world. Why is that?
Well, if you put the two together, you have a country of 80 million people right on the Chinese border, which is a gigantic market. In the north, they have a lot of cheap, educated, disciplined labor. In the south, they have massive amounts of capital and manufacturing ability. So you put the two together, I mean, it's got to be a fantastic powerhouse. North Korea spends gigantic amounts of money on defense. South Korea spends gigantic amounts of money on defense. You think of all the money that could be saved, the highways, the schools, the factories, everything that could be built. This could be a powerhouse.
And in the past, you've expressed interest in the prospect of investing in North Korean tourism. What makes you so positive that these kind of ventures would come to life?
The Korean Peninsula has never been on the world tourism map for many reasons. Japan, war, etc. So people, when they think of travel, they don't say, let's go to Korea. But once it opens up and there's no prospect of war, a lot of adventurous travelers will want to go and see, well, what is Korea? And when they get here to the peninsula, they will find a lot of natural sites, man-made sites. A lot of people like Korean food. There are lots of reasons that people will be interested. And then there would be a great tourism boom, but many other things. Agriculture is a disaster in the north, transportation. There used to be railroads up the East Coast and West Coast. They're rebuilding those railroads. A lot of exciting things will happen here once you open the DMZ.